Hey everybody, Andy here. Let's talk about The Lovely Bones.
Susie is a young girl with a long life in front of her. But when Susie goes missing, her family doesn't give up hope for her safe return. Unfortunately, Susie knows the truth and can do nothing but watch from her own personal heaven. Her family struggles, and their different methods of coping is difficult for Susie to experience. For years, Susie lives vicariously through people in her community, her family, and her friends, learning, growing, and experiencing life in her own special way. The Lovely Bones, written by Alice Sebold, published by Little Brown in 2002. It's a 328-page fictional novel.
Alright, so The Lovely Bones. Very hard book to read, but a very good book. I don't really know how to say it. I think it would probably matter in your situation in life, kind of where you're at. I'm a father. I have a young daughter. So reading a story about a young girl being murdered it's kind of hard not to put yourself in the father's place in this book. So when Susie gets murdered in the first chapter, I almost stopped reading, which I read on the internet. A lot of people did stop reading, or a lot of people found themselves in my place and finding it very difficult and uncomfortable to read. She never gets really graphic, the author. You don't really, you're not like, oh God, ugh, why'd she, ugh. So there's not really anything graphic. She doesn't go into detail about how things happen, the acts that happen to Susie, but you know what happens. But you know what happens, so it's difficult and hard to read. And then on top of that, just the father or the family, but especially the father in this story, over like a 20-year period, he just can't let Susie go. Throughout the whole book, he's just it's like the hardest thing in the world for him, and I can only imagine. But it's just so difficult to read. It's so well written though that you just can't. You want to know more. You want to know what happens, and so that's why it's hard to read. But the story itself is very well written. The storytelling is excellent. The characters are awesome. The way she writes the father is just, it just seems so real. It's like you seem like you know these people, and you just want everything to happen. You want everything. You think they deserve for everything to go well for them, and you really connect with these characters. And you want to see what happens to Susie, because if you guys don't know, this book, she dies in the first chapter, and then she's the main character still. She's in her heaven, or her. It's not really. They never say heaven. I shouldn't say she's in heaven. She's up there somewhere. She can watch. She's kind of like a ghost, and she tries to interact with her family. She tries to speak to them and give them signs and stuff, but it never really happens all that much. Maybe a little bit here and there. The story is really about how her family copes with her death and how Susie is able to let go and grow herself even after being dead. It's a book that everyone should give a chance, and definitely read a little more past that first chapter. If you can get past that first chapter, please keep reading a little bit longer and then see if you want to continue with it. But it's an excellent story. That being said, I saw the movie. I haven't seen it recently. I probably should have watched it again, but I remember not liking it that much. But now reading the book, you can definitely get a little more into the characters. I know it's a movie. It's 2 hours long. It's really hard to watch the character development and story like in a movie that's written after a book like this, it's really hard for them to watch the progression of and the torment that the family goes through. You can't really get attached to these characters as much as you can in a book. So, but the movie is still pretty good. You should probably give that a shot if you ever have some time. But I would definitely read the book and give it a chance after the first chapter. Maybe read the first 3 chapters and then decide if you want to keep going or not. But anyways, it's very serious. It's difficult to read at times, but it's very rewarding, very good book. I don't think you'll regret giving it a shot. Hey everybody, Andy here. Thanks for watching. You know what to do if you like my video, and I will check you guys later.